Good day, everybody. Hopefully, my audio is working good. I forgot to test it. I'm coming on a little early today. It's my name's Todd Standing. This is my November 5th show. Looking forward to some excellent questions, as always, from you guys that are just absolutely amazing people that come on and have wonderful things to say about Bigfoot. So, gosh, I have so much going on right now with the Bigfoot stuff. Uh, One really good piece of news before we start. Hey guys, there you are. I see you popping up. One amazing new piece of news. What's going on with my pop ups here? So, I keep touching it. I don't know what the heck. Hey Amanda, how's it going? SoCal Forest Ninjas. I just love saying that. Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Already having a little technical difficulty here. It's crazy. Things flat. Anyways, let's hope everything goes really good with the internet today. Anyways, I always like to have some kind of announcement to you guys that are so dedicated and amazing. I'm so grateful for that. Um, Discovering Bigfoot Part 2 is really going to happen. It's really, really going to happen. So I started work on the movie and post production, and I there's no there's no budget for me really. It's not a money thing. That just I it's going to be distributed again, which I'm very happy about. And lots and the last movie did so well for me with exposure and introducing a whole new group of people. I got a captain firefighter, new PhDs, new doctors, new judges on board and stuff. So just I couldn't be happier about the exposure that and Netflix is enormous. It's absolutely bloody enormous. So of course, what, while you're doing a movie like my movie's not a Netflix original. Netflix just was they were real jerks about it. My documentary was one of the biggest documentaries of all time on Netflix. If not even heard, it was the biggest documentary of all time on the biggest network of all time. Which I thought this is amazing. I'm going to get a big chunk of cash to do part two. I'm going to do it with drones and have all this amazing stuff and really get the discovery moving forward with real funding. And then Netflix said, "We'll do the next movie and we'll consider it," which means they're not giving any money. And anyways, it stunned me how ridiculous they were. And yeah, even Discovery Channel, History Channel, all those networks, it was like you couldn't do it, you couldn't get the documentary done. It wouldn't gave me all the cants, and I got it done, and it was a hit. So I don't know what the hell with these people. I don't understand these executives and network people, and you know, TV shows, and I just don't get their manner of thinking. And they don't get me. I tell people, I take people out and show them the Sasquatch. I did it what like 6 times this year, in case you're wondering. You know, more than that even. I shouldn't throw numbers out there because people love my correct stats. But my stats are when I take people out. Like this year, I was well over 50%. Last year, I was in the 30 percentiles. 30% of people actually saw a Sasquatch, and over 80% had a live interaction of some kind. This year it was over 50%. I mean, that's ridiculous numbers. But I went back to radium, and it's hard in radium, and there were some. It was tough. Radium's tougher than Nordeg. There's more grizzly bears, more black bears, bigger mountain lions, and the terrain is hard. It's really hard. It's huge up and down. Like the expeditioners thought it was hard in Nordeg. Radium is just like you're surrounded by mountains, 360 degrees, a mountain in every direction, and all you can do is go up them or weave between them. And weaving between them isn't that's down in the lower grounds, and the Sasquatch like the high ground. They're the big dominant guys, and they like it up there. So anyways, that's my spew about that. So here's Jaybird. He's got a thing. Hey Todd, what's up? Did just totally read my mind. LOL. There's going to be a second special. Yeah, and as I was saying too, I guess I forgot to mention this. Netflix doesn't guarantee that it'll be on there. Trust me, it's going to be on there. It's going to be great. There's going to be some great stuff in there, and I'm not going to say anything more than that today because I just don't want to say anything. I don't want to give any hints. So just tune in next week, and we'll just take it step by step. Okay, it's a very exciting time for me with the film and stuff, and I'll leave it at that for now. It's going to be a great movie. It's going to be another great film. As you have to remember though that the first Discovering Bigfoot was everything I had. It was the culmination of over a decade's worth of work. So it was quite horrifically significant. I was using footage I had from 2005, 2007, 2009, 2010, right? All the way up to 2014. Had a little commercial break there. My apologies, but yeah, and this documentary isn't 10 years worth of footage and stuff, so but it'll be great. It'll have new good stuff, and so I'm really excited about that. When am I going to take cameras? Duncan Jones asked me, when are you going to take the camera up in the mountain? I always take a camera up in the mountain. I rarely go out without a camera. In fact, almost never. So yeah, I take cameras up the mountains like crazy. So the only time I don't go out with cameras is when an expeditioner uh, who's paid for the expedition and doesn't want a camera, and that's happened to me 3, 4 times. I just get expeditioners that goes, look, and they say the same thing. They go, you know what? We're not going to get. I don't want to focus on footage. I want to focus on what I can see. I'm here to see it with my own eyes. If you're dicking around with the camera, looking, if there's a Sasquatch there and you're looking through a camera lens, you lose out on what's actually happening. And if you don't understand that, looking with your eyes, smelling, feeling, and enjoying the experience of it, as opposed to looking through the camera and trying to get your focus, right? Zooming in, zooming out, trying to get the sunspots out. No, just look. And when you look, you might see more because you can look and turn your head. You don't do that with the camera. It's hard to get your focus on something that's 50 yards away. If you don't understand that, I can't explain it to you. Just forget about it. Don't worry about it. There's a tremendous difference between being out there for yourself and wanting to see a Sasquatch with yourself and wanting to get footage. Don't take my word for it. Ask Survivor Man, right? So, and that's what they want, and that's what they get. So that's happened a few times, but the majority of the time, I go out with the camera, and I prefer to go out with the camera. So, SoCal Forest Ninja. So you say, Mason, did you get my last email? So you're not sending an email to me. I hope you send me an email, SoCal Forest Ninja. I will be. Snow is coming down here. It's November. Uh, it's time to be done with expeditions right away. I still have a few more things I have to do. I don't want to talk about my expeditions over the last few months at all right now because it's just really crazy about them. So, but anyways, thanks, Franco. I'm glad you believe. My is it McCann Steele says it made my family watch your film. Well, I hope it wasn't too painful for them to sit through. And yeah, so do Bigfoots eat fish? Oh my God, Mike! Whatever fish they can get a hold of, where the salmon runs and stuff are, absolutely like crazy. Fish is such a rich food source, especially salmon. We have salmon spawning up in the Pacific Northwest area and into British Columbia, where I live, all the way up to Alaska. The salmon spawn is that's what makes bears giants. The Kodiak bears and everything. Well, the biggest bears in the world that are notably a little bit larger, at least 10 to 20% larger, are the polar bears. But they eat huge fat seals and whales, and they get tremendous food sources. But the grizzly bears would be bigger, but the salmon we spawn about 4 times a year, and they're such jerks. They kind of sit around waiting, to, almost starving, until the next salmon spawn comes around. And the Sasquatch don't do that. The Sasquatch they can hunt. So thinking that as big as a grizzly bear is, even this is you guys inspiring me to think about the biology again. What a brilliant thing. So a bear, as enormous and crazy huge as it gets, and it's impressive how big the Kodiaks get, and the Pacific Northwest bears that are exposed to the salmon runs get huge bears, bigger than the prairie grizzly. We call them grizzly bears where I live. They don't get the spawning salmon, and they're significantly smaller, 20-25% smaller than the bears along the coastline. But if you're a Sasquatch, those Kodiak bears, or those big grizzly bears, hardly ever get deer and elk. They're not great hunters. I mean, they're single individuals. They're not pack hunters like wolves or Sasquatch, and they're not intelligent and able to pick up a rock and throw it, or outsmart, or ghillie suit up or sneak in on a deer the way a Sasquatch could. So my point in this is, if you think about it, the Sasquatch, they'll get the salmon and they'll get the deer and they'll get the elk and they'll get the birds, and so they have the opportunity to be opportunists and be much more successful with food sources. Wishing I brought water now. I haven't coughed all day. Here I am yapping, you guys. But anyways, they certainly would have significantly better abilities to retrieve food sources than bears. The more I think about it, it just blows my mind. I never thought about this. It's you amazing people asking me these incredible questions again. And yeah, they would have tremendously. I mean, they're going to use tools like rocks. They throw rocks for sure. Moving together, even a lone Sasquatch would have. They're so much more intelligent than a bear. Not to say bears aren't intelligent. They are. Bears are smart. They're not dumb animals. People, if you think that about bears, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. They're thinkers, and they have personalities, and one bear is different from the other. That's why saying to do one thing with all bears is a universal thing isn't good for somebody like me. It just doesn't work for someone like me because I have so much interactions with them, and I can read them, and I can watch them, and I can see their body language, and deduce on how to react based on that body language. So you could know a bear the way you know a dog, the way a snake charmer knows a snake, right? The way a crocodile guy knows a crocodile, what it's going to do, how it moves, right? How they can read it. And you can do that with bears and whatnot. But a Sasquatch, they're thinkers, they're intelligent. It's a whole other level. It's totally amazing. Hey, hi from Brooklyn. So SoCal, so talking about enhanced whistling. Interesting. Brooklyn, New York, love that. That's great. I was just talking to a guy from New York City today. Expecting my 7th grandchild. Congratulations, Lila. That's awesome. We believe, keep telling the truth, and it will come out. You've worked so hard for so well, and thank you, Tom. We have worked so hard. Many of us have worked so hard. So many people. You know, I meet Sasquatch researchers that don't care about. They don't want publicity. Some of the best researchers I've ever met, actually, honestly, don't want publicity. They just do it for the love of it. Do it for the discovery of themselves. And yeah, they've been working so hard. They've done so much, and they've done it for the love of the wilderness, the love of the discovery. And I really understand that. So he means he means I'll live up the mountain. He means live up the mountain. That's I don't really understand that. Sorry. Everyone should make their family watch Discovering Bigfoot and show everyone else they know. Thanks, Amanda. So somebody got my voicemail today. Okay, not me. He's talking about somebody else. I'm glad you guys are talking amongst yourself. Please do that. That's amazing. Todd, how's the research center doing? Well, the research center is closing right away. I'll say that. So you guys always seem to get things out of me that I don't really want to talk about. But court case is no progress yet because I'm focused on other stuff right now. I got to do the film, and I want to do that court case so bad. This is from Unlearn the System. Oh my God, I want to do the court case so bad, and I've got such an incredible bunch of ins. I'm just one man, and got so much going on in my life right now. It's just too much. I can't do anymore. I've really, you guys should know, like I've had personal issues that have really just took me back 2-3 years terribly. So I need to get these things handled and move on forward with this research because it's so important, and I'm so dedicated to it. And I'm ready to, soon I'll be ready to dedicate myself to this discovery like I've never done before. Like, you know, crazy out there in the bush, months at a time, just totally dedicated and devoted to it, and building a cooperation. This is 2020 is going to be an exciting year for me. Some major stuff is going to happen, and it's going to be so exciting, guys. Thanks so much for all your support and all your help. I'm going to get my nose back to the grindstone and kick some ass and move forward big time. So Deborah Moore says, I believe your footage is real and hope you get what you truly deserve. Gain and lots of plus from it. Thanks, Deborah. Yeah, the footage is real. So and I do hope I get what I deserve. You know, I'm the man that can. That's what I'd like to hear. I would really like to get. If there's one thing in life I want to get what I have worked for. I'd like to sow the seeds I've planted. I'd like people to know me for who I am, and that's why I try so hard to be honest and truthful about stuff. So I heard long call at Lake Arrowhead about. So this is Martha E. Martinez. I think she's saying I heard a long call at Lake Arrowhead about summer 2015. Yeah, Lake Arrowhead's going to be great Sasquatch habitat, right? All the way down Lake Arrowhead into that Revelstoke area. I think south along Lake Arrowhead. I know that area. It's in British Columbia, if that's the Lake Arrowhead you're talking about. I know the spot. And yeah, it's going to be great. Congratulations on that success. That's fantastic. So what's the male to female ratio? Well, Parkway SRG. I don't know. I have no idea. It used to be 3-4 years ago. I would almost see exclusively males around me. But then I started noticing something in the trackway that I could see the female tracks as opposed to the male tracks. And I think there have been females around me. But since I just really noticed that, the slimmer, gentler foot, the way they walk, their movement. It's obvious to me now, and it wasn't so much before. I thought that the female Foots were just a smaller male, but there really is a clear difference. The sexual dimorphism, which is the difference between males and females in Sasquatch, is it's quite notable. It's quite notable. Not as significant as gorillas, but maybe as significant as the sexual dimorphism between a man and a woman, like human beings. I think you could say, in general, males are going to be 20-30% bigger, and I'm maybe even more than that in the Sasquatch. So, as I was saying, if you're asking me the difference in ratio size wise, which is an awesome question, there's a difference, and I would estimate 20%. If you're asking me population wise, I really don't know. So I wouldn't even be able to extrapolate that. I think that the male has a big harem of females around him because there is sexual dimorphism, which relates to a dominant male, and I think there is a dominant male. All my research dramatically points to that, a big dominant male that runs the group. I'm very convinced of that. And so if he has a harem, he's going to keep certain females probably away from me, right? So I just can't pull those numbers whatsoever because I mean, it's clear to me I have more interactions with males, but what are the females? Are the females of babies? What are the females of babies doing? They're not coming around me. They're not exploring. They're protecting their young, right? So it's not something I'm able to deduce at all right now. But just off the top of my head, just probably just going to be like gorillas and chimpanzees. No, more like gorillas. Forget about chimpanzees. Patience, please, with the glitches. I'm very grateful for this platform. Um, but I find more similarities between gorillas and Sasquatch than chimpanzees and Sasquatch. Significantly more similarities. So, and I see more similarities between human beings and Sasquatch rather than chimpanzees and Sasquatch. I find chimpanzees are a whole other level. They're just a little. There's just quite a bit of difference. And then I would say there's a whole other level. Like orangutans are right off the scale. Solitary beings are so much different than Sasquatch in their behavior and their movement and their abilities. So, what was your experience that changed you from skeptic to a believer? Beth asked me that. It was video 2 and 3. I probably talked about this before, but yeah, I was actually after I filmed the video 2 with the Sasquatch who stands up and sits down, and I went up there, realized that was no man. I thought maybe it was Native Americans doing it, or the First Nations people, and there was no. That was the Sasquatch, and it was really hard for me to swallow that. I went through that whole. I've seen expeditioners do it. Guys come out and they see a Sasquatch and go, "I just saw a Sasquatch," and they'll be there for like a guy that saw a Sasquatch on day 3 on an expedition. He went home not believing what he'd seen. He literally went home going, "I can't believe I just saw that. I can't believe they exist. I can't believe they're real." And he came out for that, and a month later he calls me back and goes, "They're real, aren't they?" I go, "Yeah, you saw a Sasquatch. They're real." He goes, "There's no way you could have faked that." And I go, "You were out there, boots on the ground with me, my friend. This has happened many times, many, many times." I'm talking about my expeditioner Stefan, but there are other people that want to remain anonymous that have seen a Sasquatch with me, and they do the same thing. It's a shock. You're just shocked as much as you have. If you're a believer and you think they probably exist, and then you go and see one, and you doubt it, you question it, you got to be skeptical because it's such a big deal, and people question it. And it's amazing. It's like post-traumatic stress disorders. It's not like that, but it's like a as I was saying, it's not like a disorder. It's like a, a traumatic experience you go through that can probably there's probably a psychological deduction for it, a category for what people go through because they're just so stunned by what happens, but it happens and it's real. And so I wonder if they get sick like humans. Perhaps they can't handle oh, I guarantee you, Galaxy Star J, they will not be able to handle our illnesses. They will not be able to handle our viruses and stuff. Do they get sick? I doubt it. I've never seen any signs of a Sasquatch being ill. I don't like wolves. If they get, wolves and bears and mountain, like I've never seen wild animals get ill. But if you think about the way human beings are, we're all cluttered together like sardines in cities, and one kid gets sick at school and 150 kids get sick because viruses just kill it there. And the Sasquatch don't live like that. They live out in open areas and they're wild. So, um, Deborah Moore asked me, "Do you think they make people disappear?" I don't think they make people disappear. I know they make people disappear. There are angry Sasquatch. There are people that go and shoot at them. There are people that go out there to verse Sasquatch. Those people disappear. You go out there, you go shoot at a Sasquatch, you go take them on, and if the better you are, you go out there as a trained sniper wilderness expert, the more skill you have, the more chance you're never going to come home. That's what I've learned. You don't take these guys on. You're taking on a master at a whole other level. So no, I don't think. I know people have disappeared. I know people that have disappeared. I found bodies of people that were totaled by, destroyed, murdered by Sasquatch. So they make people disappear. You go out there, you mess with them, you go shoot at them. You know, you go hunt a bear and you shoot at a bear, and if he can kill you, he's going to kill you. Trust me, you're going to die. So you go take on a coordinated, intelligent species of hominid that's dominant in their society, in their environment. You're a twit. Why go to war like that? I don't. I just don't even respect that. So I know people are like, shoot them, whatever. You don't know what you're talking about, and it's nothing like you think it is. So, okay. So next question here, Todd. Do you feel that they like high ground better than? Absolutely, they totally go for high ground. And again, I'm not thinking, I'm telling you, they take high ground. If they're taking low ground, they're very comfortable. I told that Survivor Man in an episode with them once. I couldn't believe they were at low ground one time. I was like, what the hell? But it was my group of Sasquatch, and I do say they were my boys. It was the Wild Bunch, and they know they're safe. We were out in the wilderness, so hardcore backcountry, and they had two Sasquatch, at least two individuals, likely much more, above us with high ground in a dominant position with cliffs. They knew that area. They were so comfortable there, and they've interacted with me so many times there. They trusted me so much that a Sasquatch came around low ground, and yeah, be impressed if they come around low ground, because like the Nordegg Sasquatch I began studying in the Nordegg region of Alberta, Canada, they never in the time I was out there working with them came at me from low ground. Always had high ground, always without exception. And they went from high ground to higher ground. That's the way they move. That's strategically intelligent. That's what you're going to get. So if there's a dominant male in an area where there's a high female concentration, that old smart male will pass on its genes. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Without any question. So it's survival of the fittest, right? And then offspring that are born and aren't strong and can't survive the first winter die. Survival of the fittest. That's something that I'll tell you, boy, winters are hard out here. Like, I don't know where you're from, and I know Sasquatch are in Florida and Texas where the winters aren't hard. Where I live, and up in the north and into Washington and Idaho and uh, Montana and all those states, Maine, man, winter is so freaking tough. It's hard, it's painful, it's brutal. You got to be tough to survive in the cold. And also you have to be big. So you have to be bigger. It's a scientific principle. The biggest bears in the world are polar bears. They're the northernmost bears. And then bears get smaller and smaller and smaller until you go all the way down to Texas. You get the smallest black bears. So the deer are much smaller in Texas. I saw a deer in Texas. I was like, what is that? That looks like a freaking, was that a runt or something? They were all little. The deer are half the size in Texas. The same, they look the same. It's blacktail, whitetail, mule deer. We have quite a few species of deer, and look like the blacktail, but our blacktail are small deer here. But I was like, what is the matter with these deer? Look, they're so little. They're so cute and little. That's Texas deer, my friend. So literally nearly half the size. So more than half the size, but just it looked funny to me. See a big, I saw a buck and I was like, what is him? He had this big, beautiful rack, but it was miniature. And I'm like, what is the matter with that buck? Like, you got to put some better stuff in your water, but that's not the case. There's more of them. There's much more of them, and they're much smaller. And that's what happens in the cold. My point is, cold is hard, and I just admire the Sasquatch for firing at it. So this guy's name is Barf Nader. I and family have experiences while camping near Mount Adams on the Yakima Reservation. We told the tribal ranger about the next morning, and he was not surprised and said, "They're our friends." Isn't that cool? That is so cool. I love stuff like that. Congratulations. Mount Adam has Sasquatch. Are you kidding me? Of course they do. Yakima? There's Sasquatch out there. You're in Washington State, my friend. My goodness. Washington State, I'll tell you something. Even though they have winter and it can be cold there, Washington State and up into the lower mainland of British Columbia are one of the most abundant places on earth. It's with the salmon spawning, the fish, the coast, all the apples and oranges and berries and grapes and fruits and vegetables that you can grow and eat out there. Like my friend and mentor, the late great John Benernagel, lived on Vancouver Island because it was the most biodiverse place in the whole world. There is nowhere in the world that had more greater biodiversity, more abundance in food sources than where he lived in Vancouver Island, where the Sasquatch are on Vancouver Island, where he studied them. That's why he was there. A PhD wildlife biologist says so. Trust me, it's true. And Mount Adams is right up that alley, my friend. You're not, gosh, I would say Mount Adams isn't 250 miles from the apex of the most abundant place on the planet. And you better know that stuff. I ain't playing. This is like if you go look at the tropical fruits and stuff, the tropics are bananas and oranges and pineapples, and they have they're harder, harsher vegetables and fruit. The vegetables I don't even know they don't grow up there very well. You get into Washington, man. You go to a farmer's market in Washington, it can blow your mind. The the fish market down there where the first Starbucks is, that was one of the most glorious food experiences I've ever experienced in my whole life. Brilliant, fantastic, amazing food that is rich and abundant and tasty, and that's where the Sasquatch live. So believe it, it's real, and I love it. We bought all kinds of equipment in the following years. However, sadly, we could not get proof of the visits. It's funny. I don't like your name, Barf Nader. Barf? It's really Barf. Can I call you Mr. Nader? I like what you're saying. Don't give up. And I think if you're getting all kinds of equipment, you're going the wrong way. If you're going towards technology, you're making a mistake. That was probably your mistake, Mr. Nader, is you need to get to nature. You're not dealing with a species that embraces and enjoys and wants anything to do with technology. You get out there with technology, you're versing them, you're going to lose. You need to take your shoes off. You need to get your feet dirty. You need to study the plants. You need to survive off the food and vegetation. And you need to go show the master of the wilderness, which is who Sasquatch are, that you're a student. You love nature in its natural state. You're not out there with cameras and technology and equipment. That stuff is not going to impress them. That's going to separate you from Sasquatch. They are not interested in technology. They fear technology. I explain this to my expeditioners. Trust me, when my expeditioners come out, they vividly are clear about why Sasquatch is the opposite of technology, the opposite of. So don't do that. Get down and dirty, get your hands dirty, eat some crazy stuff, learn about nature. When they see that, they'll come to you, they'll be attracted to you, because if you love nature, they want you to love nature and appreciate it, and the teachers will begin teaching you. When the student is ready, the master will appear. Ever heard that? Go be a student, love nature, and when you're ready, the masters of the wilderness will appear. Right? Go try again. Don't give up. I never gave up, Mr. Nader and family, sir. So you don't tap out, sir. There's a Sasquatch out there, and you can figure it out. And use... Rambo said it in First Blood Part 2, I think it was, where they have all that technology. I know this might sound cheesy. They have all this technology around them and all this stuff, and this is all here for you, Rambo. So we got the latest, greatest technology in the world. He goes, I always believed the mind was the greatest weapon. And I love science. I love biology, but there's a spirituality to this. There's a deeper thing going on, and you got to love nature, and so maybe just love. Maybe that's the spirituality you need. It's not about religion. It's about just loving nature and appreciating that. And that's something you can't hide. If you're out there and you're versing nature and you're trying to survive within it with your special technologies and stuff, that's why you even out there. That's not what nature's about. Go survive, man. Go drop your compass. No, don't do that. Don't get crazy. Take it step by step. The wilderness will eat you alive. So use your compass. There's some technology I recommend you maintain at all times. If you get hit by a mountain lion and you survive it somehow, or attacked or injured or fall down or caught in an avalanche, and you get out of there and you're disorientated and you don't have your compass, you're going to die. You're injured, you need your technology sometimes. So if you don't know how to build a compass, don't go without one. And maybe use your GPS in the beginning. Be safe though. My message is go learn, but be really safe. We do need some technology. I go out with a Garmin GPS tracker now that I can text people in emergencies and stuff. And so take care of yourself. Your safety is immensely important. I've never been lost in the wilderness. I'll tell you, one time I felt like I was lost. I was going in the right direction. I was losing faith because the right direction was taking 4 times longer than I thought. But that fear of being lost and you're done. When you're out there and where I do wilderness research, and it's 100 miles in any direction before there's even a road. And if you go in the wrong direction, you could be going north where there's 400 miles before you hit it. No, you hit polar bears before you hit a darn road, going in the wrong direction. So don't dick around with your safety. Trust me. You want to be afraid, you go get lost. You'll feel fear, like it's terrifying to be lost out there, and horribly terrifying. Please don't do it. Take good care of yourself. I know I went off on a tangent of that, but it's very scary. Don't do it. Okay. Yeah, and please go to send us an email, Mr. Nader, at bigfootencounter@gmail.com. We'd love to hear about you. My wonderful Danielle's on here, and my amazing Amanda is on here, Stephisaurus. I will not be able to do the chat room after because I don't have a computer. So I can't do any typing, and I'm not typing on my phone. So, but go to the website, guys. It's discoveringbigfoot.com. There's chat rooms there, and Amanda's got all these wonderful things going on there, and it gets to me. It comes my way. Amanda and Phil and the people that are in there, they and Danielle and Atar. He's not around today. These people have direct contact with me. These people get a hold of me. These people are my friends. These people are my colleagues. They can get a hold of me, and if you have some information, they're very easy, very transparent to get to. If you get to them, you get to me. So believe me. And if you've been trying to get to them, and I know they have information for me and they have stuff, but this has been a hard year of expeditions, and I really have to be laser. I have to focus on my expeditions, and that's what I've been doing. But the snow is coming, and Todd Standing will be back, nose to the grindstone, working, looking at the encounters, looking at what people have to say. And hey, happiest wife ever! It's awesome to see you back. So I would like to book a visit. Well, happiest wife ever, I would love to have you. So I will be. I'll start booking my expeditions for next year. I think to have, without booking anybody, I have about 15 people that are coming out next year for sure. All repeats. At least 15 people that are repeats. Probably another 10 that are dicey. So that's 25 people. Is that crazy? That is crazy. And these people, I just love these people. I just can't. These people have been out there and bled in the wilderness with me, boots on the ground, fought for it. I could just start naming, from Andy to Stefan to Rich to William to Melanie to Atar to all these people that have come out and bled with me. I just friends that you make. It's not like going to war because it's not that traumatic, but it's like having this wonderful experience and testing your metal. They test my metal. Nobody takes my word for it. These people come out and they want to see what I got, and you're going to see it, and we go do it. You know, my my least successful expedition this year, we saw a gorgeous silver-tipped grizzly bear, and that's what my expeditioner wanted. She wanted to see a grizzly bear, and the little brat got it. We saw lots of bears, tons of a couple black bears and stuff, but she saw a gorgeous silver-tipped grizzly that we filmed for an hour or two. Gorgeous bear. And then we had some Sasquatch stuff happen too, but not a sighting. And anyways, just tune in. What's the latest big news? You think? Love you, Todd. Thank you, Pepper. Deeply thank. Hey, nice beard, brother. Beard's coming back a little bit. Thanks for being an ambassador for the Wilderness Masters. I love when they're called the Wilderness Masters. Wilderness Masters. I say Master of the Wilderness. It's all the same. Pepper. Thanks, brother. I feel your love. Thank you so much. I feel the love of the fans, and that's why I do this show. It's really hard for me to do this stuff, but you guys are freaking amazing. I love saying SoCal Forest Ninjas. I feel your theory on them not liking some types of weather is very possible from what just the rain. It's primates, right? Gorillas almost starve when they get into the rainy season. They won't move. They won't pick up food. They just sit their asses down and won't move. And it's to do with hair. Hair is not fur. Fur has layers. It wicks the moisture off, and we have hair. What happens when your hair gets wet? It goes right to your darn gone skin. It's cold. It's hard, and that's it. So and I don't even think it's a theory. My success is reduced by 98% when the weather is raining. 98% reduction in Sasquatch interactions and sightings. 98%, and it would be 100% except what happened with my firefighter friend William on a horrible expedition that was terrible weather, and a Sasquatch came out. and there was a good reason for it. It was amazing and wonderful, and I'm so grateful for the Sasquatch. Taught me a lesson. I love the Sasquatch are amazing, but just amazing. So Warren for you. Stay strong, Todd. We can appreciate what you put yourself through, both physically and mentally. Much love. Thanks so much, Warren, for you. Um, I get it too, Warren. That's funny. Reality overload, Todd. Thank you, Robert. Sorry for the reality overload. I don't like overloading people. I feel like my cup is almost full. So, Todd, thank you so much. You're welcome, Robbie White. And I know exactly people that don't know and people don't understand. These dudes know the blood and the boots on the ground. Robbie White says thank you very much, and Robert and all these people, they're saying thank you because you know what I think? I think they know. I think they've been out there. I think that they've been boots on the ground, or they have a good idea what's going on, and they know. And we're gonna wink at each other and go, yeah, I get it, because it's hard, it's brutal, it's tough. It's that's why it's not getting done, because it's that hard. And anyways, Daniel Andre says Sasquatch are a form of abominable or Nephilim, not Nephilim themselves, but rather a product of the abominable left by the Nephilim. I don't really do that stuff. Thank you for sharing your theory. How much does it cost for a hike with two people with you? You know what? Oh, that reminds me. I'm getting my official guide license this year, so I'm going to start doing that. I love nature, and some people don't want to go backcountry in the crazy areas, but I live in just such a beautiful area. It's so beautiful, British Columbia and beautiful Alberta. You probably heard of Banff. One of the most beautiful national parks I've ever seen in my whole life is Yoho National Park, just absolutely gorgeous. And I'd like to start taking people on hikes and stuff there, showing them a little extra, taking them to special places that I can take them to. I mean, I could take people on a hike where they'll see waterfalls that people don't know. So yeah, I think I'd like to start doing that. And it's not about Sasquatch, it's about nature and beautiful and gorgeousness. And I can teach about plants and animals and survival and nature and love and spirituality and blah, 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 blah. And you can ask me a billion questions. And I take expeditioners out for 7 days usually. And believe me, for 7 days, I've had expeditioners. I have people that have come out 3 years in a row. And for 7 days, we'll go blah, 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 and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And it's never an end. That's how much there is going on. That's how much I've experienced. That's how much I know. That's why I can do this show every week for an hour, no problem. You ask me questions. Let's kill it, guys. And you guys have amazing questions. I'm blown away. Seeing Sasquatch is like seeing an actual UFO for the first time. One goes from believer to knower. Agreed, Roy. And there's got to be some kind of trauma that you experience when you get your paradigm destroyed so dramatically. Even when you know it's coming. That's what I love about people. Is they know that Sasquatch are probably real. They're believers. And then they see one and everything changes. It's not the same. Ask Jeff Meldrum. But Jeff Meldrum knows they're real. Jeff Meldrum is firmly convinced they're real. And look what happened after he saw Sasquatch, boy. He was, he had it was profound. Very, very profound. And my goodness, the man's brilliant, genius, amazing, convinced that they're real. And then he saw one with me on an expedition. And it was even John Benernagel. It's something, and I guess this is kind of personal stuff. I'm not going to really talk about it. I shouldn't be talking about it, but I had an experience with John Benernagel when there was a Sasquatch and some stuff happened, and it's very tense, it's very scary, it's very amazing, it's very wonderful, so yeah, that's the way it is. Do you ponder them overthrowing other clans, tribes? Parkway SRG, I don't ponder it. I've been around when an attempt to take over a clan transpired. A new male came along and fought the monster male in Radium, and the new male that tried to fight him lost. The new male was bigger, but as you know from the UFC, bigger is not necessarily tougher. So there's a perfect equilibrium, I think. I feel there's a perfect equilibrium for human beings. The toughest fighters in the world are between 6'2" and 6'5". John Jones down to Anderson Silva, middleweight champion up to heavyweight champion. The best fighters in the world are around 200 pounds, approximately. Maybe well, I guess some of them as much as 260. But anyways, in the 200-pound area, 400 pounds too big. You're not, just because you're big doesn't mean you're the best. Doesn't mean you're, it's that balance of agility, power, and strength. And I feel that my Sasquatch in Radium, he's only a 17-inch track. I don't think people are When he's in a fight with other bigger Sasquatch, he smokes them because he's the perfect agility. The perfect agility matters, speed matters, right? It's not just about power, and we're learning that. And look at the greatest athletes in the world are decathletes. Not really arguably overall athletes, right? And look at they're not huge, they're not tall, they're not too tall. Anyways, again, they're about 6'2" or so, right? 1.9 meters tall, and have a certain mesomorphic build, and you know. But anyways, that's for hand to hand kind of combat fighting. So, it's of course there's the best basketball players in the world are tall. The best power lifters in the world are endomorphs. They're short and stocky. So everybody has a place, and I love that. I just love that. That's why I liked football so much, because you have the big monster guys, and you have the tall skinny guys, and everybody had a place. Well, not really tall skinny guys in football, but yeah, there was a lot of places for people. So thanks to everyone for your heartfelt support of Todd and the team. We sure do, Amanda. Thanks for reiterating that. Do you think Bigfoot has a sense of humor? Yeah, yeah, Robert. Yeah. Oh my goodness. No, again, I don't think they do. I've experienced it. So I talked about it before, where I tricked them, and I did. I tricked them. Whatever, manipulated the circumstances where they left the best tracks I've ever seen. I went down the mountain to go get casting material. Came back up, and the tracks were all covered and gone. And they made a "hey" sound, like, you think you got us? You didn't get us. And there's been a couple other incidents like that, just a couple, where I've definitively noticed like a sense of humor. Even some. This is crazy, and maybe this isn't good evidence, but I'm going to talk about it anyways. Sasquatch were tossing rocks at me and a couple colleagues, and one just missed my head, and they were throwing them from like 200 yards out. There's no way they were closer than 200 yards, and they were throwing them with deadly accuracy, like plus or minus 12 inches. And that doesn't make sense. I know you can't shoot a bullet like that. Well, you can, but comparing a bullet to a rock is, apples and oranges. You can't. There's no comparison. A bullet is streamlined and specially rifled and spinning, and a rock is pathetic, and they're throwing it with deadly accuracy. So I literally remember looking at the Sasquatch over in their direction, go, really? No more. You can't be throwing rocks at me like that. Give me some space, dude. Like, holy cow, I get it. Yeah, you want me to leave, but don't do that. That's not cool. I got really upset. The next rock they threw was like 10 meters away from me, you know? It felt funny. It was like, we got it. Sorry, that was a little too close. But then again, it wasn't just one time. There was like 8 times they kept throwing rocks. And they weren't even close to us anymore. They were behind us, and we were moving in the right direction. But it was like, I don't know. I just get it. And there's other things too. I think they have like a morbid sense of humor too, where they've scared people out of areas, like people that are kind of chickens, scaredy cats, and they scare people out. When people show fear, they chase them, and I think they think it's funny. Look at these cowards. Look at them run. Look how scared they are. I've seen them do that. So, but in nature, it's different, right? They love the deer. They love the elk. They kill the deer. They kill the elk and eat them. They'll break a deer's neck but love it. You must understand that's going to create a different mentality. I'm not like that. Most people are civilized. Most people have never killed a chicken. How many chickens have you eaten in your life? Hundreds? How many have you killed? None? Sorry. I'm not sick right now, just lung damage from bad expeditions. But anyway, they're living the life they have, being exposed to death and survival of the fittest. And there's a lot of merciless stuff in nature that we're not exposed to. Watching a young one die from an infection, that stuff's probably going to happen to them, right? So, anyways, it's a harsher life they live, and they're going to be less. They're going to have a sense of humor, but they're also going to. It's just harsh. The wilderness is harsh. It's just that's just the way it is. Somebody looks at a beautiful little deer with their 3 fawns and goes, "Look how beautiful those fawns are," and I smile and go, "2 of them would be dead in a week, horribly killed by bears or mountain lions. They're so beautiful. Wait till you see them all bloody and torn to shreds. That's nature, and I can't not look at it that way. A deer that has 3 fawns, 3 beautiful, gorgeous little fawns, they're not going to make it. So maybe one's going to die for sure. You know what I mean? And horribly. If you ever saw a baby deer, elk, or bison get killed by a coyote or a bear or a mountain lion or a wolf, it's ugly. It's savage. It's brutal. It's going to, and that's nature. And if you don't like it, I don't know. That's where we come from. It's nature. It's life. So anyways, I saw a good question. No, When was it? Why does the government cover this up? Because proof of them, Nephilim, Bible, truth, God. Yeah, I don't think so, Daniel. It's not. I think they cover them up for money. The discovery of Sasquatch would cost logging companies and all the people. Oil cost millions of dollars. So you found human bodies. Did you report it? Um, I was on an. I was looking for the human that went missing, and I found them. And so it wasn't. Of course, it was reported. We went looking for a man who went missing because he was, and I knew why he went missing. I knew about the Sasquatch thing, and absolutely yes, it was reported. So um, yeah, terrible, terrible situation. I found dead bodies before out in the wilderness, and I have nightmares about it. I'm not built good for that kind of stuff. I have, I don't know. I'm very civilized, and I don't know. I haven't. I've never killed an elk. I killed the deer once, and it was hard for me. But anyways, focus filming in the areas where tree breaks are, where it looks like wind is blowing. Focus filming in. Okay. Yeah, I certainly focus doing research in those areas. Sasquatch will eat weed. Yeah, I have no knowledge of that. Mushrooms, maybe too. Magic mushrooms, sure. So yeah, they're going to be aware of that stuff. They're aware of plants and animals like immensely. That's their home, right? So, do you call cops in when you discover corpses? I'm usually yeah, search and rescue is involved. I'm very uncomfortable talking about this, but just quickly. So, three people that went missing. I was out, and all three of them were found in with me and my cooperation. And then the fourth body that I found. So I found four human bodies that were dead. The fourth one that I found was killed by a bear, and yes, I reported it. He'd gone missing, and yeah, all of them have been reported without question. I would never not report that. Oh, thanks Parkway for the donation. I will stay. I will stay warm. Are you guys hearing me right now? What happened? I froze up. Yeah, we're good. So thank you very much for the donation, Parkway. In case you didn't hear me when I froze up. And yeah, I don't really want to talk about the body stuff anymore, though, guys. It's all been reported. I would never not report that. If I ever found a body, I would always report it. And yeah, it's pretty crappy. So, Todd, do you think juvenile Sasquatch accidentally reveal themselves as more humans enter their habitat? No, juvenile Sasquatch are so. I just don't. I think 99.9% of sightings are purposeful. Like if you saw how ridiculously talking about the juvenile Sasquatch getting seen by accident, you got to understand people are so loud and obnoxious. I drive up in a truck and the tires spinning are so freaking loud you can hear it for miles and miles, right? And then you get out of the truck and you close the door, bang, and it echoes off the trees. I mean, you're not sneaking up on anything, and the Sasquatch are aware of you at that point. And if you're going to go deep backcountry, the squirrels are going to let them know you're there. The birds are going to let them know that the deer let them. Like, this is literally, if I'm out in the wilderness, you are not going to get past the squirrels. I'm going to know where you are. The squirrels are going to tell me, the birds are going to tell me. So the Sasquatch are going to let you, you're going to have the birds, the squirrels, the elk, the deer, the moose, the bears. You're going to have to get past the mountain lion. You're going to have to get past everything because you're talking about the apex of the apex. They are top of everything. If a if the wolves are moving strangely, they're going to know what's making them move. If the deer are moving strangely, deer and elk have a 2 mile flee distance, and they hear incredible. They smell amazingly. The elk and the deer, I can't read off the elk and deer. I'm just doing squirrels and birds. And I've spent, decades now in the backcountry wilderness, and I'm highly, highly skilled and trained by biologists, by natives, by survivor man. The list goes on and on. My training has been, ghillie suit snipers and, backcountry wilderness experts from all the way from South Africa down to Texas and Florida. I've been trained. And I'm only at that level. I'll never reach the level of deer and elk movements that are going to tell me things are coming. So you just got to understand, guys, and please trust me, you're dealing with intelligent beings that are at a level that's ridiculous. Like, they're so far above me. The old First Nations people and old Native Americans that were trackers miraculously that nobody's ever been able to duplicate, that I can't duplicate. Those people will tell you Sasquatch are a whole other level above them, and we never got to that level. Like we're so far behind, we think we're ahead. You're not going to sneak up on a juvenile Sasquatch, my friend. No. Sorry, but no, no, no. These guys are born and they never leave the wilderness. They don't know what it's like to be in a house. They don't know what it's like to, you know what I mean? They don't know what it's like to walk on pavement. They're connected to the earth and their feet are naked and they walk on the earth. They're connected. They feel the earth, the rocks. They get things in ways that I will never understand. They're so freaking connected. They live from nature. They drink the water from the creeks. They eat food from the plants that grow out of the soil. Do you understand that level of connectivity? The spiritual connection? When I take expeditioners out and we eat 1/10 of the food from the wilderness, they go poop in the woods and bury it. It makes berry plants. You're part of the ecosystem, my friend. Like, that's a wonderful feeling. They drink the water out of the creeks and rivers. Hmm? My expeditioners all do that. All of them. That's all the water we drink is from the beautiful creeks and rivers. And they feel like $1 billion when they get out of there. They feel amazing and fresh and rejuvenated. Why? Because you drank natural spring water that's run off the natural spring water rocks that's come out from natural glaciers and ate plants and berries and fruits, like so this stuff matters. If you don't think that stuff matters, they're connected to nature in ways that and through generations and generations, their parents they were grown in a womb that was fed by deer and plants and animals. You know what I mean? And drank from that water. And there's never been a Sasquatch generation that was not connected to nature like that. We're so far connected. I'm so freaking civilized. It's ridiculous. I feel it. Don't you feel civilized? Don't you feel like you like a blanket and a soft bed to lie on? I do. So, do you think Bigfoot tries to manipulate your actions? Absolutely. And by manipulate, yeah. Oh hell yeah. Like always. I hope they are. I mean, even by anything they try to coerce me or convince me to do, I do it. So they don't even have to manipulate me. They do, but I don't need manipulation either. I'm ready to learn from them. They're my teachers, right? So yeah, but they do absolutely. I just that saying that just punches me in the face. I can't think of an example right off the top of my head, but holy hell, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You know what? It happens a lot, but it doesn't happen. What I mean is when they're around, you can see it. When they're there and they're interacting, you can see how they're trying to manipulate things and you know teach me things and that kind of stuff. If that's what you mean by manipulation, um, if you mean like brain manipulate and change me and control me, no. But I hope that's what you meant. I hope that answered your question, Todd. Do you think juvenile Sasquatch? Oh, I read that one already. Hey Todd, what's the tallest Bigfoot you've ever encountered? Just like under 10 feet. So like well under 10 feet. I think 9'4". So yeah, I shouldn't even say 10 feet. There are people that tell me they're 12 foot. People that I love and respect and admire, and I know are authentic, legitimate Sasquatch researchers telling me there's 14 foot, 16 foot Sasquatch out there, and I just call total bullet, total BS on that. That's crazy. Are they right? Maybe, but I just can't do that. That's just too much, guys. Do you ever get scared every time they come around? Every time I have an encounter with a bear, I feel fear and pressure. I think you're real and rare, and I know what you do is real dangerous. I wish all the very best. Thanks, Deborah. Uh, best long overdue. I want to punch everyone that pulls you down. Don't worry about that. Don't. Yeah, I give people respect. Most people don't believe in this discovery, and don't worry about it. Don't punch anybody. Don't even think like that. I just wish them the best. That's there's a religion that I kind of like a little bit, that Buddhism. It's not, maybe it's more of the philosophy. I love the philosophies of Jesus and Muhammad and Buddha. I'm not very religious, but I love the philosophies, and the philosophy of Buddha. They just wish people a peaceful and happy existence, and I like to do that. I wish, it doesn't matter what, in anger and you know but thank you, Deborah, and just I wish you peace and happiness, and I wish my point with Deborah is something I've learned, being kind of like a demi celebrity, kind of a celebrity and kind of famous, is that that's how I'd get up and I'd start reading comments, and if they were real negative, I felt bad. That's because they were getting to me, and I don't want to let that happen anymore, and I don't. And if I'm gonna read, that's why even like I have Amanda and Danielle and people, they're all able to go through my comments on YouTube and delete that stuff because I just can't do that stuff. And it does get to me. It bothers me. Don't get me wrong. I'm not above it. People say horrible, hurtful things that are really mean. And Les Stroud told me that, hey, medicated or unmedicated, there are people on the internet. They don't check you for whether you've been taking your meds or not, or whether you should be on your meds. That's a legit celebrity giving me his advice, which I really admire. So I admire Les Stroud. Man, I have, I'm so lucky that I worked with Survivor Man, and he's a wonderful guy, and that I know Survivor Man and Jeff Meldrum, and that I got to work with John Venernagel. I feel so honored by that. I can't tell you guys how. I hope you guys are even kindred to that and feel that those great men, like and more of them coming into my life. William and Rich, and even Atar, who's on here today, has been just a wonderful guy who's got brilliant perspectives and teaches me a lot. So, happiest wife ever says, bone piles down the creek near Benlook Lake, hogs in one pile, deer in the other pile, placed separately. That's that's strange, but people do crazy things, you know. So I have trouble. See, I have trouble tracking human beings a lot because people do things that don't make any sense. When I track a mountain lion or a bear or a deer, they're sensible and reasonable, and I can deduce what they're doing because they're much more logical and even predictable. People are crazy and do the stupidest things. Like people, but before a human being freezes to death, they take off all their clothes. That's a body I found once. Was I knew it was going to happen. When people are freezing to death, they and get frostbite on their skin right before they die, they feel like they're burning up. So they're literally freezing to death, and they take all their clothes off. They freeze faster. But that's how animals don't do that. That's crazy stuff, right? People are just so, well, not crazy. We're just so civilized. They're not built for the wilderness anymore, and we're so separated from it. It's really sad. So Frank Tabulero, what a cool name. Obviously Italian. Nice to meet you, Frank. Really sorry I mispronounced your name. I suck at that. Sasquatch are very intelligent creatures, smarter than us in a lot of ways. I totally agree. Very wise. Yeah, very, very wise. So amazing channel. Love listening to your first podcast. Thanks. Have CXXX of these beautiful, and they are such beautiful. There's my Manitar. Jeffrey, thank you for sharing your experience. I had an encounter in Mississippi as well during the aftermath of a hurricane. Atar's got tons of stuff. Atar's awesome. So thanks for tuning in today, Atar. Sorry I wasn't around last week, guys, and I'm quite certain I'll be here next week. So just crazy, lots of stuff going on in my life, and I'm keeping my personal stuff out of it, and just even with Sasquatch, just really good stuff. And so we'll just keep informed. We're almost done the show. It's almost an hour in. Think about a human with animal instincts added to intelligence. That's Jay Barron. Yeah. Think about a human with animal instincts added to the intelligence. That's such a good way to put it. Yeah. Human being with, even more than that, Jay. It's like not just intelligence, but think of a human being with incredible high level animal instincts, intelligence, and a deep spiritual connection to the earth. Now, let me add that. Now you're talking, right? And for those of you who have children or just love somebody and feel that deep spiritual connection, and special things happen with love, don't they? I mean, I hope you've experienced love, whether it's love with your mother, love with your son, love with your wife, love with your brother or sister. Special things when you have true, real love. There's a special spiritual connection, and that happens with Sasquatch and nature. Absolutely. The more I love nature, the more I feel that connection. So thank you for happiest wife ever has got a thing going on. Cool. Lacey, that's cool. Look forward to hear. Thank you so much. Amanda, Atar. I had a natural water. I had that natural water and the expedition. Oh boy, that natural mineral. Isn't it something that Atar knows? Atar drank it. So Atar was out. I don't know. I think the berries were not so great for Atar's expedition. The strawberries were gone, and the bearberries were gone, and there were just those rose hips were, and that's bad. What's going on with the rose hips? Long story in the biology, but some bad stuff has happened in the biology where the Sasquatch are right now. It's not natural, which is scaring me. But my first meeting was when I was 16 and deer hunting between the Lev and MS River till I thought it was a story to scare kids. My pawpaw called them buggers. That's cool, Jeff. So yeah, super cool. Congratulations on that success. You're a special guy if you've had Sasquatch encounters, because, like I said earlier, 99% of the time, I believe they're revealing themselves. And if they're revealing themselves to you, it's because they think you're special. So, Peter Birdsall says, Nimrod, hunter of men, hybrid spawn of Nephilim, is Bigfoot, unnatural seed, definitely not a good keeper of the woods. Never mind when to go. Okay, I don't get that. We all have been there, the trails, ridden the highways briefly, on and off another trail. Thank you, Parkway SRG. Um, and then just a couple more questions, guys. How far down are we here? Ooh, oh my God, oh my God. Just spent 3 minutes scrolling. Hey, there's Phil. Hey guys, sorry, I'm way up. So many questions today, right? You think Bigfoot could be in Gray Smoky Mountains? I don't know. Just yeah, Gray Smoke. I don't even know where that is. Sorry, troll baby. Um, yeah. Oh, right below they are. And you know what? Mason White, Sylvanic, and SRG. You know what, you guys like? If you communicate, I don't know how can you guys communicate with each other? Send an email to Amanda. So Mason White, I'm gonna do some networking here. So Mason Witt, Sylvanic, and SRG is talking to Troll Baby. Troll Baby, send an email to or go on Facebook, but bigfootencounter@gmail.com. And then Mason White Sylvanic says they are there. You guys can hook up, please. You know how powerful? I would be nowhere without cooperation. We need to cooperate, people. Let's cooperate. Amanda will be your link. She's on Facebook. Danielle's on Facebook. Um, or most easily though, you just say, hey, I'm Troll Baby. Hey, I'm Mason. Do it today. Do it tomorrow. Send it to bigfootencounter@gmail.com. Amanda will hook you two guys up. And just give her permission. Say, hey, I want to talk to Troll Baby. Mason says, hey, I want to talk to Troll Baby. Troll Baby says, hey, I want to talk to Mason. You guys talk, you know. So yeah, please cooperate, please. I introduced so many people that have had so many great connections. So proud of that. Even I'll say John Benenego. I introduced him to a colleague of mine who likes to remain anonymous. Just an amazing, incredible, wonderful colleague that I just think the world of. Great man. And he was one of John's best friends for the last years of John's life. Certainly one of John's favorite guys in the world of Sasquatch. I facilitated that. You know how honored I feel? Like, I don't know. That's wonderful. I couldn't spend as much time with John as I wanted. I couldn't spend enough time with the other guys I wanted. But they made great friends and they had a wonderful relationship. They went to each other's houses and they introduced their wives and they became great friends. That I'm so proud of that. I don't care if that's weird. And that happens so much. And I've done it with Survivor Man. I've done it. Survivor Man's got a cooking TV show based on my connections. That's awesome. Fantastic. You met Paul Rogowski. It's my connection that made all that stuff happen. And am I happy about it though? Hell yeah. They're doing incredible, amazing work. They're making the world a better place, and I facilitated that introduction. Let's cooperate, people. Love it. Without cooperation, I wouldn't be here. That's why I'm here. Cooperation. That's what it's about. You guys are getting great questions out of me. So, animals don't take clothes to take off. Correct. And animals are natural and connected to nature. And it'd be amazing to be like that, right? Wake up in the morning and just a bear rolls out of bed and goes. Doesn't put his shoes on. He doesn't do his hair. He just goes. I love that. Canadian, so Amanda's saying Canadian Rocky exploration. I think so. Phil is in charge, but not moderating here right now. Just listen to what Amanda said. She's talking about awesome stuff. Unpredictable. Humans are very unpredictable. Do they have some power that stops cameras? No, I don't think so. That's just from Al Copeland. I saw a Survivor Man episode. It just seems like they can stop cameras from working, right? No, I don't think so at all. That's kind of paranormal weird. I've had some weird stuff happen, but it just seems like when there's a high pressure situation, equipment is more likely to fail. I don't know how. Can't explain it. Maybe it's my energy that's like I'm through the roof and the camera gets screwy and doesn't work. But remember, I have filmed them. Video 8, my camera was working perfect. Video 4, 5, I'd never had camera trouble all those times. I've had Survivor Man put out that stealth cam, and it worked. It just the Sasquatch is moving so fast, right? So. Yeah, I don't know. No, I don't buy that. I hear it, and I'm considering that, but I don't see the reality of it. So, hey Nathan, thanks for the well wishes. That's awesome. Cephisaurus, that's my Amanda. You guys might be confused, Cephisaurus, Amanda. Anyway, hi Todd, can't wait till you get back to the field. Well, I just Batman, I just left the field, dude. Easy there, brother. So yeah, and I'll be getting back there lots of stuff going on. Just things are up in the air right now, and I gotta. It's like I have like 20 avenues to go down, and I need help from cooperation, right? I'd love somebody else to help pursuing the court case. I'd love somebody else to organize a database and all. And we're doing that stuff. We're doing that stuff. I just gotta do a little more, and yeah. So I will. Do you think Bigfoot has their own types of Morse code when knocking on trees? Not at all, Nathan. I think they knock on trees just for us. I think they're just because I think they're in communication with each other at all times. I think they have a telepathic link to one another. I'm not gonna lie. Here it is. I'm pushing. You're pushing the limits. You wanted to push me. I feel when I'm in a good spot, I can feel a Sasquatch around me. I can feel their presence. I feel like they've gotten into my head, and I'm not a Sasquatch. So knowing that I've felt like they've gotten into my head, like mind speak, I've talked about it, right? And I've done a lot of work into mind speak. Mind speak is very real, and I think they can. If they can communicate like that with people, can you imagine what they can do with their own species, right? So my theory is, and I've only substantiated this theory, 4 or 5 times, but my theory is they're in constant communication. I don't know how they could be so aware of what the other one's doing and what's going on. And my theory is they're just telepathically in communication. And these things are not real. It's not paranormal anymore. Go watch Third Eye Spy. Princeton University, the United States government's been doing it. It's real. There is telepathic ability. It's absolutely real. It's basic. So just to end this off, because you guys are pushing me and you're awesome, and I love when you guys push me. The telepathy is real, guys. I'm firmly convinced it's real, and I'm firmly convinced the Sasquatch do it. Did we freeze up again? I just came back. Goodness sake. Come on, YouTube, get it together. Can you guys hear me right now? I don't know. Still moving. Um, Anyways, just looking through some other. Tom Mitchell wrote to us. Yeah, Tom Mitchell wrote to us. This is awesome. Happy so. Yeah, SoCal. You guys are. That's awesome. You guys are getting along. You guys must be able to hear me right now because my image is frozen. Thanks. Super excited about Bigfoot. Yeah, I feel like this discovery is going to change the world, and that's awesome. I'm a little guy. There we are. I think I'm back. I'm a little guy, and I don't expect to be able to do much to change the world, but Sasquatch can. And if I can facilitate that discovery and help Sasquatch make the world a better place, I will. What was I talking about just a minute ago, though? I was answering a cool question and I forgot. Talk about Bigfoot. Gosh, sorry, Cody. I mostly talk about Bigfoot. And when I'm not talking about Bigfoot, I'm talking about the wilderness, and the wilderness is Bigfoot. Big time. So you're welcome, Al. I'm happy I could give you that answer. How's the observation thing you were working on going? How's the observation thing? I don't know precisely what you mean. Sorry, my brain's a little scattered right now. I'm not sleeping much. So, yeah, that's so true. They probably have their own way of communication. Could even be telepath, and I think it is telepathic. That's what I was talking about before. Is it just I'm convinced that they speak to each other like that. So that's why they don't knock to each other. Why would they knock to each other? They're in communication with each other, and or maybe it's not that. Maybe it's visual. But I think the knocking is just they're them trying to communicate with us. So that's all I feel about that. I feel you hit the nail on the head with telepathy. Yeah, I'm not going to play any games with it. I don't think it's real. I don't feel like it's real. I've had experiences. I've done things. I'm being tutored. I will get back to the tutelage of an animal communicator, who's tutoring me how to communicate telepathically. And that what was her name? Amanda. I forgot her name now. I don't want to. So it's real, man. It's so real. Like there's the evidence is out there. It's profound. It's real. Communicating telepathically is absolutely real and legit. And I'm not gonna. I don't think it's real. I know it's real. So, anyways, guys, we can still hear you. Thanks, Amanda. So yeah, scroll. I'm always like, I'm always like way behind with stuff. But how many Bigfoot are out there? Numbers? I don't. That's Sector A15. I watched my documentary. I said 15,000. I think that's pretty accurate. That's my best guess, just based on I did some work in the biology based on black bears and where they can be alive and terrain and stuff like that. So yeah, and Phil says the chat room's good. So go to the chat room, guys. Please go to the chat room. Please cooperate. Please communicate with one another. I don't have a computer to type on today. I'm just off my phone. So I will talk to you guys later. You guys have an awesome night. Thanks so much for tuning in. I just love doing this show with you guys. Give it a thumbs up and stuff. And 90% chance I'll be back next week. So 95% chance I'll be back next week. And if I'm not back